Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Overwatch All-Star Brawl presented by Star Esports number 6. My name is Dividing, and I'll be your play-by-play caster for tonight, joined by the wonderful Kongman, and we are here to bring you the loser semi-final matchup or rematchup between Hog Mafia and Kryix. Kongman, we're in for a really good game tonight.
Yeah, I definitely have to say we are, especially because I actually went back and rewatched the gameplay of the Hog Mafia and Kryix matchup where Kryix lost 3-1 against Hog Mafia. Kind of a one-sided game, honestly, and it looked like Kryix just wasn't prepared. And if we actually take a look at the bracket, seeing Kryix just only drop one map in this entire losers bracket, going with a grand total of a 9-1 record, you can tell they're out for blood. So I'm really looking forward to see just how well they do up against Hog Mafia as this grueling rematch.
The losers bracket run has kind of been crazy from Kryix. After losing their first matchup against Hog Mafia in losers round 2, which was Kryix's first game since they had a bye week in round 1, they have, like you've mentioned, gone on quite the tear. Hog Mafia, kind of the opposite story, made it all the way to the losers semifinals matchup before falling to Andy's daycare and beat, I think it was Bay State, in order to get to this point. But now, I think Kryix has definitely proven themselves as a top 4 team in this tournament. They were just unlucky enough to face another top 4 team earlier on. And the thing with Hog Mafia is that they are, admitting to being a sort of specialist team. They specialize in those spam comms with Wrecking Ball and Zenyatta. And once you know that, it's very possible to learn what to do against that. So I'm hoping Kryix has maybe learned a thing or two from the first time around and comes out with some new strategies to counter this.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, in the last Kryix game that I was luckily able to cast, I did have a chance to speak with the owner of Kryix, and he even stated that in their matchup against Hog Mafia, they were very underprepared, and they just thought it would just be an easy cakewalk going up against Hog Mafia, not really knowing anyone on the opposing team. And they realized that, so they said they're going to try their hardest through this losers bracket and not drop a single map. I mean, sure, they have a 9-1 record in the losers bracket right now, but still, that's really impressive, especially like beating Regen 3-0, Solstice 3-1. Like, that's just insane. Yeah.
They have quite the resume, but I mean, Hog Mafia does as well. Obviously, both teams have very much earned their spot here, and I think we're going to be starting pretty soon here on Volskaya Industries. We're actually going to be starting in 2CP this time around.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but 2CP is actually my personal favorite map, and for those of you who watched the Overwatch League of last night, it's kind of sad seeing 2CP no longer going to be a part of the original Overwatch game.
Since I think you're in the minority on that one, my man.
Yes, I got a lot of messages on Twitter informing me you're the only one who loves 2CP.
What is it about 2CP then? I need you put it on stream. I needed to back this up and defend your opinion.
Okay, so I am a big Symmetra player. It is so fun to just play Symmetra on 2CP because everyone's just focused through a lot of the 2CP maps is just one choke point to get, and so strong for Symmetra.
Okay, so it favors your style of gameplay. I understand. I will say the snowball mechanics in 2CP, while it can be very frustrating for to play in that kind of scenario, I can admit that it's pretty fun to watch a team roll through 2 points of an objective in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And it's even more fun, especially if you play on like Hanamura, how basically just right out of spawn you can TP directly to point. Volskaya, you can TP around the left side. Like, there's just so much flexibility for Symmetra on 2CP maps you just don't see anywhere else.
Do you think we'll be seeing Symmetra in this map moving forward on Volskaya as teams are, I think, getting ready to move in?
I think definitely from map 1 we might see a Symmetra just to kind of test the waters and all that, because honestly, like after watching the Overwatch League finals of Shanghai and Atlanta, it was really fun just seeing the amount of Symmetra players, because she just melts through so many shields, and she's just so versatile right now in this current meta format.
Extremely versatile. I was personally really surprised at how exactly, how often Symmetra was used in the Overwatch League finals. Last night and in the entire playoffs. It felt like if teams were able to utilize her teleport extremely effectively and creatively, it opens up a lot of opportunities to get to places where you usually wouldn't be able to get.
Yeah, and also it's just really nice because, especially if you put down a TP, you have the option of either A, taking the TP, or just, excuse me, baiting out your opponents, and they might think you're taking the TP once, so you just Lucio speed boost into them.
Yes, and I do want to point out real quick, just making sure everyone here knows that the MVP voting poll is now open. Of course, we haven't seen any of these players play yet, but if there is a player playing in today's match that you want us to pick the brain of a little bit after the match is over, go down to the About page right under this one. Vote for the player that you want to be the viewer MVP, and we will definitely not force them, but they will also just have to come up and answer a few questions from us. And it's not a kidnapping. It's not a kidnapping.
Definitely
guys.
not a kidnapping.
No.
They are doing this on their own terms.
It is on their own. It is on their own free will, and us pressuring them until they do it. But no, they're also their own free will.
Yes, of course. And of course, just looking at these two teams, just as we're waiting for the match to get started, I see a lot of names, especially on like the side of Kryix, because basically watching them go through this losers bracket, and even on Hog Mafia, watching them play all of their games, there's a lot of good options here for the MVP.
Absolutely, but the only way to determine an MVP is to see who plays the best, who is the most valuable player in the lobby today, and the only way to determine that is to play some games. Loading into Volskaya Industries right now, as obviously first map is going to really help set the tone for the match moving forward. What are these two teams going to be bringing out? What are their game plans today?
Well, definitely, I know that a big fun thing to do on Volskaya is to just play a bunker comp, because there's so many good spots to sit. You either have the point, that little tiny room with the mini health pack that's really good in front of the point. You also just have the computer room just to the left side of the point with the mega health pack. Especially if you hack that as Sombra, and if you're running like Sombra Ash, you can just drop a Bob on there, and it's just so oppressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Hog Mafia starting off on the defense here, going with what seems to be the comp that they have advertised the whole time. Wrecking Ball for Strider, Zenyatta for neutral. Also Railgun on the Sombra is very interesting. Hacking up plus Discord Orb is a great recipe to just blow up a member of the enemy side.
Yeah, and definitely as these spawn doors open and we're revealing exactly what everyone's playing, it seems to all be exactly the same except for the off tank of just D.Va Sigma, just the only difference between these two teams at the moment.
Yeah, and they pushed up so far ahead, Hog Mafia did, and got an early pickoff, so it forced, put a little bit of a damper on the initial push from Kryix, as now they have all six again. They're going to try and push out on to point A. Budget just barely gets away before he gets hacked up, as the core of Kryix is now moving towards that right high ground, trying to contest the members of Hog Mafia, who are positioned up there, as a couple of them now start testing their waters on the point.
Yeah, as we can tell, Budget currently taking the high ground position. I wonder if Chad is going to be keeping a counter like they did a few games ago with Kryix. It was very interesting watching Hog Mafia keeping a lot of their team back, not really revealing it until Budget just happened to roll into them and almost get deleted.
Yeah, and there's some progress getting onto the point, but the picks are definitely going the way of Hog Mafia right now. Kryix lost Budget pretty early on in that fight, and after that, the core of their comp sort of split up, splintered away, and that is going to be a full reset coming up from Kryix.
Yeah, it seemed like Kryix wasn't really 100% certain on what they were doing there. You had Budget on one side of the map with the entire other team on the other side, and Spec's just not really able to do much with that Sigma shield since it has such a long cooldown once you put it back in your pocket.
Budget now moving up to the high ground once again. That's a 2 on the counter for those keeping track at home. But Wang Huzhong has, I think, lost the pulse bomb, or it went off without an effect, but it's Maxwell who gets taken out first. Railgun in the back. Finds the Tracer on the other side, potentially a hack coming through. The mines come out from Strider. It finds the pick onto Ram. No Discord Orb on the side of Kryix, and that gets rid of a lot of your engagement ability. Zenyatta on the other side is able to take out Depresso, And just like that, Hog Mafia are continuing to pull ahead. These have been slow, grindy fights. So even though there's only been about 2 of them, there's only a minute and a half left on the clock for Kryix to get any progress on point A.
Yeah, and as we basically take a look at the ultimate pools, it just seems like everyone's building up for the 6-man ultimate team fight, because that's just honestly just all you really see on 2CP anymore.
Yeah, Kryix is going to be getting up to all 6 of their ultimates coming up into this fight. Hog Mafia coming up on 4, but Wang Huzhong will probably be coming up to the pulse bomb momentarily. Narwhal is going to open up with the rally. Everyone is all sturdy and up with the armor, and the EMP comes out from the Presso Neck, gets a couple, but Neutral is not caught in it. Railgun is a little bit more successful, though. Does find the support line of Hog Mafia, and Ram goes down as a response. Wang Huzhong traded out. Narwhal in this little mega room. That Brigitte is so powerful, but now Mocha is going to give their team a mid-fight boost with the rally armor, and Specs goes down. The tank line of Kryix are under heavy fire right now, as Maxwell gets a pulse bomb stick onto Mocha to finish off the Brigitte on the other side. But once again, the members of Kryix, they're sort of split up. They're confused. They're being isolated and taken down. There's 15 seconds left on the clock. Mines all over the point, and there is no progress made at all.
Yeah, this is definitely not looking to go in the way of Kryix at all. It seems like they're very disorganized, like they're not really sure, like they're having big miscommunications, and Hog Mafia is realizing this and just punishing Kryix for it.
Overtime is taken away. The wick is burning down. There's some stragglers coming onto the point for the side of Kryix, but all they really have to work with as far as ultimates go is the Transcendence from Ram. If Ram can get in a position to use it to get on the point a little bit more, and I think he'd realize that there is no point in doing it at all. It's just kind of sitting back in the spawn. Unfortunate for Kryix. They said that they had prepared better for Hog Mafia, but that first attack seemed to prove otherwise.
Yeah, I definitely have to say that was a very one-sided map for the side of Hog Mafia. They really just came out and they decided, you know what, Kryix thinks they're going to be better than us. Now, maybe we're going to show you how to play 2CP. And with a full hold and barely any deaths, or yeah, basically any deaths on the side of Hog Mafia, this is not looking good for Kryix.
Yeah, the win condition has been set, and it could not get any easier for Hog Mafia. 1 tick onto the first point is all you need to take an early lead in this best-of-5 series. As we're coming out, we're not really seeing very many changes coming out from Kryix. They're going to be coming out on basically the exact same comp. So the question is, can they keep together better now that they're on the defense?
Yeah, Kryix running the exact same comp, and it looks like Hog Mafia running the same thing. We do happen to see a Widow floating on Wang Huzhong, but that might change in this next 16 seconds.
Yeah, I'd be surprised to see Wang Huzhong stay on this Widowmaker for more than a couple of seconds at the beginning of the fight. Probably going to swap back onto that Tracer that we've seen him on for the entirety of this map so far. But as the... yeah, okay. Here come the swaps, I think. No, Wang Huzhong, okay, goes up for the initial jump shot. Now is going to swap onto the Tracer. This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and so now with Hog Mafia having 345 to get just 1 tick, you know Kryix has to be sweating and shaking in their boots right now.
Yeah, but Budget gets an early pick off on the Strider. The main tank of Hog Mafia gets sectioned out early on in this fight, so... Hog Mafia, you're going to have to wait a little bit long. Takes out Ram.
Yeah, and as we can tell, Strider just immediately jumping to the point. It looks like Kryix hasn't really addressed this right now.
Oh, and Narwhal goes down as well. The healers from Hog Mafia have gone down, and with no support, there is no backbone to your comp. It feels like only a matter of time at this point as the... percentage slowly starts to tick up in favor of Hog Mafia. Ram swaps onto Lucio to try and contest, and Maxwell actually in the center console room does find 2, but it's too little, too late, and Hog Mafia set a dominant pace on Volskaya.
Yeah, and I was able to get a quick look at the stats right before the game ended. Kryix only getting 8 kills in that entire game, while
Wow.
Mafia just blew Kryix out of the water. And 2 of those kills were that pulse bomb from Maxwell at the very last second right before the round ended.
Hog Mafia came out strong, and my big takeaway here is that Kryix tried to sort of mirror the comp that Hog Mafia were playing and that Hog Mafia were known for. And if you're gonna come at the Kings, you better not miss. And Kryix missed.
Yeah, they missed pretty big. Now, as we get ready to prepare for map bans, what do you think Kryix is going to be looking to do coming up with this next map?
Yeah, I mean, I would be looking to try and get to comps that will play against your opponent's preferred comp as much as possible. That's how you play against teams like Hog Mafia that have made it basically their entire brand that this is what we play. We're going to be really good at it, and you just have to stop us on it. So as far as these Wrecking Ball, Diva, Zenyatta ball comps, I would say, more closed-in maps like King's Row or maybe something like Dorado or something like that could potentially work. I don't know if Dorado's in the map pool. It might not be. I have to check now because I don't remember.
Yes, I actually do need to also check the map pool. I am the bad caster.
No, Dorado is in fact not in the map pool. Rialto could work though, potentially. Or we could go on to something like Hanamura. These kind of spam comps don't work super well on the cast, but instead, we get the ban onto Blizzard World from Strider on the side of Hog Mafia, and the pick from Kryix is going to be Lijiang, which is kind of a gamble. I would hope that Kryix, their hope here is that they're going to be trying to play against Hog Mafia's comp with something of their own, maybe something a little more brawly or something a little more divey instead of the spam comps, instead of just trying to play into Hog Mafia's comp the whole time.
Yeah, and I do know that, especially after watching the Kryix versus Regen matchup, Kryix does have a certain composition that they love to run on King's Row, and it just blew Regen out of the water. So hopefully, Kryix will realize they're really good at that composition. It's just hard to counter, and they'll actually bring it out on one of these maps.
Hopefully they will. Teams have said they are ready, so hopefully we'll be getting into this momentarily. There we go. Lijiang Tower coming up, starting off with 2 CP and then moving on to Control. This is strange map ordering coming out here. I know that's how Star Esports works, but a little bit strange. By the way, going into the second map, make sure you guys are putting in your votes for the MVP candidates. At this point, I would just say, honestly, anyone on Hog Mafia is a good candidate.
Yeah, definitely looking at the last stats, I would definitely either be voting for Lunacy or Neutral beside of Hog Mafia. They were the only 2 that Kryix just couldn't seem to confirm a kill on.
Yes, indeed. As we move on to Night Market as our first Lijiang map, and thankfully, Kryix has heeded my advice a little bit and gone with something a little bit different. We got a 6-man rush comp coming out from Kryix to start off here.
Yeah, and as these spawn doors open, I'm looking to see if Hog Mafia... Nope, they swap off the Symmetra. Well, there go all my hopes and dreams that I was looking forward to this map.
Well, we do still have Railgun on the Echo instead of the Sombra of last map, which is pretty exciting to me. I love to see those flying compositions, and honestly, the rush comp of Kryix is going to have trouble dealing with it. They don't have a consistent answer to it. Strider pile drives in, is just barely able to survive, but does not get past the hack and gets sectioned off, taken down, and that is what rush comp thrives in. Everyone on one person, and first control of the point is going to move over to Hog Mafia. However, the fight continues to rage on, and Strider is back now. This comp's so quick, so anyone who is dead is not dead for very long. Specs getting taken out is now allowing started picking up the damage for the team. Maxwell trades one out, but the kills are very much in favor of Hog Mafia. So 27% taken early for Kryix, but Hog Mafia is going to take it back.
Yeah, and Specs trying to run away with his the very edge of his life on his hands. He does manage to get it out, but it just seems like Kryix is ready for a big reset here.
Wang Huzhong has the pulse bomb up early, is getting around to the side right now, trying to see if he can get a sneaky stick onto maybe Narwhal or maybe someone like Specs, someone who can't like fade out of it automatically, as the team has gone past it and does not get a stick, but it does take out Narwhal regardless, and good opening kill from Wang Huzhong. And Hog Mafia continue to look strong as Railgun with the Primal Raging Monkey on the point, an effective use of the Echo Duplicate, and that is an easy fight win for Hog Mafia.
Yeah, and as we take a look at this ultimate pool, as the point becomes 50 to 27%, Hog Mafia with 4 ultimates in their bank, and Kryix is working on their third one, getting kind of close to a fourth.
Yeah, the all-important EMP is up in this fight, though. Depresso has got to make sure that Neutral and probably Mocha as well end up in this EMP. Is able to successfully do that. The supports are packed up and down in Neutral and Mocha's case. So, a 3v6 now in favor of Kryix. Hopefully they don't have the need to use any more ultimates. Using just the EMP and winning off of that is the ideal situation. However, the Strider is going to be coming in to try and get as much percentage as possible. Gets it up to 86 before the point flips.
Yeah, and it was definitely very interesting because as soon as Depresso threw his EMP, Lunacy on the side of Hog Mafia just threw his Diva Bomb. It's almost like the second-hand nature whenever you're a Diva player and you just hear that EMP where you just immediately throw a bomb. So I don't know if that was planned or if that was accidental.
Potentially, but Strider has gotten into the back and is doing so much work. The Wrecking Ball fragging out in the back line. Strider has 2 in this fight, and Maxwell is able to use a Death Blossom, but it's straight in the face of a Transcendence from Neutral. Railgun's actually swapped onto a Torbjorn here, and is able to pay off as it takes down Narwhal. The Coalescence from Ram finds 1, but the kills once again are very much in favor of Hog Mafia. The mine's on the point now, clogging up everything that that Kryix is trying to do, and the point now flips over 88% and counting for for Hog Mafia to try and take this first round.
Yeah, with only 5% left, someone's gonna have to touch the point, and right now Kryix doesn't look like they can do it unless Budget can get an amazing leap, and he gets it.
Yeah, beautiful leap from Budget to just barely get onto the point, but Strider is more than ready for it, and Wang Huzhong with the follow-up. The kills come through from Hog Mafia. The contest was rushed from Kryix, and they were not able to follow up on it. So, interesting swap from Railgun there, moving on to the Torbjorn from the Echo. Can you tell me why you think they did that?
Honestly, I can't really say because anyone can just swap to any character at any reason, but honestly, it was a really good pick. The turret was just so much more oppressive than anyone actually thought it would be on that map.
Yeah, I think the Sombra from the side of Kryix had trouble getting value after the Torbjorn. Torb turret was on patrol all the time. The second you unshifted, the turret would lock onto you and you couldn't get a hack off. Now though, heading on to Control Center.
And as we can tell here, both teams start going up against a Pharah. We'll see how well this pays off for them.
It makes sense for this point. There's a lot of walls and surfaces to stick your Symmetra turrets onto, and an early pick off coming onto Kryix, but the spam damage from Hog Mafia is putting so much pressure. It's forcing this double shield brawl comp from Kryix to back up. Even though they have the man advantage, the space advantage is on the side of Hog Mafia at the moment. Strider pile drives in, knocks a solid 3 into the air, already almost has the mines up. Actually, this is an extremely fast mines build from Strider as the fight moves back and forth. Now Strider can use the mines and is able to block off so many areas for Kryix to move in, but unfortunately does get taken out. It seems like the actual picks are barely on the side of Hog Mafia here. as Railgun is doing a ton of work on this Pharah, but is chunked down extremely low, has to go back to get back to his Mercy and get some healing back in. Strider with a late Mines kill onto Maxwell. No Tracer on that side, and the barrage is used with the beat. There's so many ults used, and the point hasn't even been captured yet.
I know, this has to be the most insane fight. There's a big shatter coming out from Budget, getting the Tracer. My god, he's just swinging around. There's just so many ults being thrown
Someone
right now.
cap the point! Please!
It's there's a bomb, there's some mines, there's a beat. No depths. There's
Strider
no
has gotten mines twice!
Alright, looks like Hog Mafia is starting to cap the point. And they capture the point!
Oh my gosh. Strider gets mines and uses it twice before the point finally gets unlocked. That might be the longest time I've ever seen a control center go completely untouched. That's crazy. As now Budget is swapped onto the Winston to go back to this sort of 6-man rush comp and instantly pays dividends as Strider goes down. But as we have seen, Strider, while he may go down, he's never down for long as he respawns and is already basically back. But while he was gone, the picks are coming through on the other side. Really, it's just Railgun that this team has to contend with, continuing to get picks. The barrage comes through, finds Narwhal, and actually Ram goes down as well. There's no supports on the side of Kryix. They seem to be trying to push onto this still, but their members are few and their support is fewer. So even though the early fight went the way of Kryix, I don't think they're going to be able to transfer this into a fight win.
I'd like to point out that is Strider's third mindset just this round alone on Control Center.
The third one, he's been building them up so quickly. And as this fight continues to just go back into this tradey back and forth sort of thing, I mean, if you're Hog Mafia, you love this, because the longer this goes on, the more percentage points tick up in your favor. Here comes the EMP from Depresso. It catches 3, but the ones that don't get caught are continuing to get value. Now, the beat used from neutral, may as well use everything you have if you're Hog Mafia, because you're at 88% and counting. There's just been 2 fights, Kongman. This has been 2 fights on Control Center. That is it. The first one was just to capture the point, and now this second one is Hog Mafia trying to win this whole thing.
Yeah, and I want to point out that Railgun has jumped back over onto the Torbjorn. And unfortunately he goes down there, but my god, yeah, this is still the second fight as it's currently overtime. Control Center is something else, my man.
It usually isn't this crazy, but the point will finally swap on over to Kryix, and now this should finally be the time for Hog Mafia to sit back and regroup before going in again. And they do that for a moment, but now it's time. We have the mines and the molten core right on top of that, but Specs with the bomb over top is going to put a hamper on this conversation. The fight the first actual fight goes in favor of Kryix.
Alright, and I definitely have to say that I think this is the longest break in this one singular map, that there has not been a fight going on where no one is shooting anyone else right now.
Well, Strider is in there. Strider is in Hog Mafia. Is in Kryix's spawn right now, just getting ult charge, I guess.
Alright, and as we can tell, Kryix getting ready for another fight. Strider getting the pick on Maxwell. My goodness, here we go with another long, drawn-out fight once again.
Yes, the picks continue to go in both directions, but now this time around, it is going to be Kryix who is benefiting from it. At 66% and counting, the longer this goes on, the more respawns they can get back in, the more they can try and push up towards a 9999 situation. But actually, a very clean fight all of a sudden comes out from Hog Mafia. No one from Kryix is still on the point, and the Molten Core and Diva Bomb combo is going to zone everyone out. Hog Mafia goes up 2-0, and all of a sudden, we're on match point.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be very interesting. And play the game going over to Mocha on the Brigida. It's not very often you see a Brigida play the game anymore.
I saw Mocha in the kill feed a couple times on this first map. I'm curious to see what this is here. Is able to find Depresso, and think it's just mostly defensive assists. Yeah, look at that. 33 defensive assists on the side of Mocha. The supports for Hog Mafia were super impressive. There's no way that Hog Mafia would have been able to keep on staying in these fights that they probably shouldn't have been able to stay into if they didn't have great supports keeping everyone up.
Yeah, and as we get ready for this third round, as we wait for the map picks to come out, I want to remind everyone to go down below and vote for your MVP. The polls are still open until the end of the third game, and honestly, right now, I would say anyone on the side of Hog Mafia would be a great contender. Kryix, unfortunately, they're kind of lacking in this department right now.
They are looking lost when it comes to dealing with Hog Mafia. Even when they're able to get a pick-off early on in the fight, which has actually happened several times, they are having a lot of trouble converting that pick into a full team fight win. Because Hog Mafia is just such a scrappy team. All of their players play so individualistic that even when you've it's not like a brawl comp where if you kill one person, the entire core falls apart and it's easy to pick off everyone else. If you pick off, say, Wang Huzhong on the Tracer, that's not going to disrupt what Strider is doing, what Railgun is doing, what Mocha is doing. They're all going to keep doing the same thing no matter what. So you have to deal with all 6 of them individually, more as dealing with 6 people as a core.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, because I want to point out that almost every single fight that broke out, not counting that, I guess if we want to count that one long, drawn-out fight, every single time Strider was the first one to die in the match, but Hog Mafia would still come out and win because they're just playing their own game. They're not playing as a team, they've just decided we're all going to split up, do our own thing, and win our 1v1s.
And it is worth noting that Strider, as Wrecking Ball, kind of knew that even if he does die early, he's Wrecking Ball, so he can get back to the point super fast after he respawns, and I assume he trusts the rest of his team to stay alive until then, and only really on one occasion on Control Center did they all die before he could get back. The ban has come through from Hog Mafia. It's Hanamura. That's one of the maps that I came up as a map that potentially Hog Mafia's style of play would be a little bit weaker. So a smart ban coming out from them as Kryix, I think, is having a good long talk about how they could possibly turn this around. Kongman, if you were in that voice call with Kryix right now, what would you be telling them?
I mean, I would probably have a few choice words I could not say on stream at this time, but you know, that's a story for another day. But honestly, I'd be doing my best to give Kryix like the biggest pep talk, tell him to get back out there, tell him to run what they like to call the Juggernaut comp, which is, I watched him play it on Kings Row against Regen, and it had to be the fastest victory on Kings Row I think I've ever seen. And it looks like with the map pick, they're going to be going over to Rialto, which is a pretty good map for Kryix.
Yeah, and sort of plays kind of similarly to Kings Row. Of course, it's a little bit more open, especially on that second point, but the map geometry is quite the same. It's a lot of sharp corners and narrowed in streets to take the payload down. So I think that if you're going to run this so-called Juggernaut comp from Kryix, this wouldn't be the worst map to do it.
Yeah, because basically, I don't know if you remember Goat's meta all that well or not, but basically Kryix looked at Goat's meta and when we can make this into the 2-2-2 composition, they've done it, and it's just so insane watching them just run at the enemy team.
It will be tough, though, because when it comes to Hog Mafia's comp, it's kind of like, who do you actually run at? If you can isolate the Strider on the Wrecking Ball, maybe that'd be cool. But everyone on the Hog Mafia comp, except for maybe the Zenyatta, is so good at just running away from confrontation, basically. And because of that, Rush Comp has trouble finding value because there's no one that they can consistently rush down. Even if they try to go for the Zenyatta, they have to go so far to find him.
Yeah, especially with Hog Mafia, like we said, like just how much they love playing split, and even like you said, besides the Zenyatta, they have like every possible route that Kryix could take just covered. They could be like, oh, they're all going left side. Next thing you know, the entire team is over there, and all of a sudden you have a team fight. There's no real way Kryix can surprise the enemy on where they're coming from if they just play split the whole time.
20 seconds left before the potential last map of the series. We are now on match point in favor of Hog Mafia. We need to see answers from Kryix coming out right now, or else this series is as good as done. They're going to be starting off on the attack. Depresso is starting on the Hanzo. I'm curious if he's 6 on this, or if this is just for an early Sonic arrow. It would be an interesting pick to try and deal with these players from a trying to deal with these flankers from a more long-range perspective. And Depresso is going to stick on it.
Yeah, watching Depresso's Hanzo is probably one of my favorite things to watch in the entire league of the Star Esports. His Hanzo's just so cracked of like 90% of the time. Like, he hits arrows I wish I could hit.
Budget hacked up, taken down. Railgun with a great early pick onto the Wrecking Ball of Kryix, and that is going to put a straight-up halt onto this push while they wait for their Wrecking Ball to come back. But the rest of the team is positioned nicely on this high ground.
And as we can tell with Kryix of wanting to contest Hog Mafia on the high ground, Hog Mafia is telling them, no, this is our high ground, get out of the way. But unfortunately, Depresso kills the neutral. That's the kind of kills I like to see.
Yeah, Zenyatta going down. No more Discord Orb from the side of Hog Mafia. But Ram goes down on the other side. Lunacy now starting to heat up on the side of Hog Mafia. Diva getting a double kill in this fight. And even though he does get demeched at the end of it, it is still going to be Hog Mafia restabilizing here. The cart really hasn't moved very far from the side of the point. Specs got really caught out there. I don't think he knew that his team wasn't with him.
Yeah, I definitely have to say, it's very interesting that Kryix is really wanting to stay on this composition. So in fact, every single time Budget goes in, Railgun just has his name and goes, you're hacked and you're dead.
The EMP out from Railgun and gets the easy kill onto Ram. Narwhal also hacked up, so the rally is not available for the team right now, and it is no longer worth it to use it. A quick fight win from Hog Mafia. 2 minutes left on the clock now for Kryix to try and find something.
And as we can tell, Strider finding Narwhal. Narwhal actually gets the kill onto Strider. This is actually Kryix's chance, and here comes the Gravitic Flux lifting up. Oh, there goes the Transcendence. There's a pulse bomb.
Nice
killing
stick.
Mocha.
Nice stick onto Mocha. The support line of Hog Mafia is in shambles. And you're right, this is the best chance that Kryix has to try and push through the end of point A so far. However, now picks are starting to come through on the other side. The Diva Bomb used by Lunacy to try and get anyone off the point. But we're now moving towards the end, and the Dragons just barely misses Strider, is able to drop the mines down on the point to zone everyone away. Ram goes down, Specs follows. This recontest from Hog Mafia is looking like it's going to be successful. Mocha knocks Budget into the river. Go take a swim, my friend, as now it's just a couple more stragglers up on the top, and Hog Mafia have once again gotten themselves back into a fight that they really shouldn't have gotten back into.
Yeah, Hog Mafia just did that perfectly. I could easily see that Wang Huzhong was just playing in the backline of Kryix, waiting for that last second touch, but Strider was like, no mate, I got this. Here's a giant mine that I love building oh so quickly, and it just made Kryix just fall apart just so quickly.
Wang Huzhong just triple blinked into the backline of Kryix and took out Ram. What an insane player. There's 30 seconds left, and there's like nothing that Kryix can work with right now. They just have to try and get picks, and they're playing into the EMP from Railgun.
Yeah, I definitely have to say this is not looking good on the side of Kryix. As much as I hate to say, this might be one of the fastest games in the history of Star Esports.
If it does stand, there is still this final fight, but if Railgun could get an effective EMP here, this match would probably be almost as good as over. They go in. The EMP does find two. Both Maxwell and Budget, the two that were hacked up, get taken out because of it. Strider hacked, but the Transcendence from neutral was there to support his main tank. A 4v2, a 3v2. The kills flow through for Hog Mafia, and my goodness, this is the most dominant performance I have seen in this entire tournament. This is a top 4 match. This is top 4.
I have to say, this is not looking like a top 4 match at all. This is looking like an Overwatch League team decided to re-enter into Open Division, and this is what we're getting right now. a complete, absolute slaughter.
It's tough. It's tough to imagine that Kryix can somehow pull off the fuller hold here, take Rialto, and to get us to the very starts of a reverse sweep. But if they want to stay alive in Star Esports and continue on to try and take on Andy's Daycare and then Gaia at the very end in the grand finals, they have to find Hog Mafia first. And to do that, they're going to have to keep everyone. They have to keep everyone from getting. It's just the very end of point A is where the cart stops. So it's basically a full hold onto Rialto point A. Strider, this is interesting. I don't know if they're going to stick onto this. I don't think so, considering Lunacy just swapped onto the Diva. I'm expecting Strider to swap onto the Wrecking Ball as well in a second.
I mean, as I definitely know that definitely in the higher ranked levels of the competitive ladder, there is a lot of hog being played. He is pretty oppressive, but it looks like his team is trying to push him back into spawn to change. And there's the hammer.
They go, no, please no hog, please no hog. So now we have Mirror here coming out. Kryix has decided to mirror what Hog Mafia does, and it just hasn't worked out for them today. So I don't know why they keep doing it.
Yeah, it's definitely very interesting. I hate to really say it, but to me, it just seems like Kryix just doesn't care. It seems like they forgot they're in the losers bracket.
Depresso, though, with the early pick onto Railgun as he tried to get into the back, is in a good early start from Kryix, and Strider's just going to go ahead and fall into the river and grant Depresso all of that ult charge. But while that happens, the cart has been sneaking forward up to this first corner and is actually going to turn the corner as Strider has gotten into the back. So the cart slowly starting to make progress, and now Narwhal being taken out. The rest of Hog Mafia starting to encircle the remaining members of Kryix. Wenhu Zhang goes down, but no one is right now contesting the cart. We're now in last fight territory.
Yeah, with only 3 minutes left, Hog Mafia is just absolutely dominating this. They don't have that much further to go. I mean, you look at the cart, you look at the zone, it's right there. This is not looking good for Hog Mafia.
But Depresso does find Railgun again, so that's time that you are not building towards that all-important EMP. It's going to take him a little bit longer, and Lunacy flies a little bit too close to the sun there. Gets taken down, and while Strider does take down Budget, you will be back pretty quickly, just like Strider has been in times before. So Kryix does stabilize.
Yeah, I have to say, Depresso is really showing his A-game with the Sombra gameplay. Honestly, the last time he played Sombra, I was, like, not thoroughly impressed, but he's making sure all these health packs are hacked. He's walking around, getting all these kills on all the important picks. And my lord, this Depresso, he has changed a lot.
Yeah, and there's a slight ult advantage. Now, Wenhu Zhang is gotten sectioned out and eliminated. The Tracer is now no longer a factor in this fight, and I think Hog Mafia might just try and wait for their Tracer to come back.
Yeah, and as we look at the ultimate pools, Kryix currently sitting on 5 ults, Specs almost to their 6, and Hog Mafia, they're on their way to 5 as well.
All of a sudden, with 1:45 left on the clock and a big time bank coming out from Hog Mafia, this is looking, and a big coming out for Kryix, this is looking pretty winnable, actually. Minute and a half left. The rally comes out from Narwhal, keeping everyone on the team so good, so topped up. And that was an interesting EMP coming out from Railgun. It only found Ram, and there was no follow-up at all. This is looking so sloppy from from Hog Mafia, which is not what I've seen so far from this team. It is a 6, but all of a sudden, in this corner here, there's 3 picks that go the way of Hog Mafia. All 6 ultimates were used on the side of Kryix, and they weren't able to get the value that they wanted, and all of a sudden the cart, it's about to go into the golden box of victory. Kryix, their tournament hopes slipping through their fingers, and it was looking so good, and all of a sudden Hog Mafia have won.
Yeah, I definitely have to say, this is gotta be a little awkward on Kryx's side, since they were talking all this hype that they were gonna be beating Hog Mafia because they knew that they went in underprepared. But losing 1-3 to Hog Mafia, now losing 0-3, I'd have to say they're worse prepared than they were last time they played against them.
If I had to give my plat analyst take on this, I would say that Kryix might have overanalyzed this matchup. They seemed to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how they could take Hog Mafia's comp and run it better than them, which it just did not happen. They tried to out specialize the team in the comp that they specialized in, and I think what would have been better is to try and come up with a comp to counter the comp that you knew Hog Mafia would be playing the whole time.
Yeah, and as that map comes to a close, we are going to be soon revealing our MVP of the
Yep.
match.
Last chance of getting your votes.
And as I look at these teams here in the lobby, I mean, Kryix, they just did not come prepared. And I have to say, like, okay, this is going to sound really insulting, but how did you guys get to top 4?
I think Hog Mafia just might be the kryptonite. They're the only team that Kryix has lost to in this tournament.
Yeah, it's very saddening for Kryix to be going home, especially as a top 8 contender, or not contender, but top 8 open division team.
Yeah, this is a team that has a lot of respect in the Tier 3 community.
Yeah, and definitely losing to Hog Mafia, a team that's fairly kind of new with some of these players, just dominating Kryix like that. I mean, Hog Mafia's got like a big future ahead of them.
Yeah.
But as we wait for MVP to be announced, who do you think is going to be our MVP of the match?
I want to say Strider possibly. That's who I'd vote for if I was voting. I think a big reason for the Hog Mafia success was due to Strider's engages and initiations with the team. He was able to get big pile drives constantly, and the rest of the team were really good at following up on it. So that's who I'd vote for. But honestly, anyone on Hog Mafia, I wouldn't be mad at.
Yeah, definitely I would have to agree with the Strider pick. I'd also either be voting for Mocha or Railgun, because Mocha's Brigida was just so impressive. Like, Kryix couldn't do anything. Like, anytime Budget would roll in, Mocha would be there to stun him, and Railgun would just immediately follow up with the hack, and Budget just couldn't play the game today.
Mm-hmm. It was so difficult. I wish that Kryix had come in with a little bit of a different game plan, trying to figure out how to counter Hog Mafia instead of trying to out spam them. But make sure that you get the MVP votes in, because they will be closing. Well, actually, probably by the time this goes on stream, because there's a bit of a delay, it probably is already closed.
Yeah, we're just waiting to hear from the man upstairs on who our MVP is. I'm sure he's currently tallying the votes right now, because if we're looking at Hog Mafia, I'm sure they all have to be tied right now, because they're just all so good at this game right now.
They're bored. They're so bored. Yeah. And we have the winner. It's going to be Mocha, the Brigida player. That's someone we've been pointing out a lot, so I'm excited to talk to him.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be really good hearing, especially like from the Brigida player, because a lot of times, like I definitely know back in Goats, whenever I was thrown onto the Brigida, a lot of people never really looked at you. It was always the Ryan, Zarya, the Ana, the Zen, or the Lucia. The Brigida just always was forgotten about. And it was just really
never mind. It's not going to be Mocha. Never mind. They have denied. So to be clear, we do not force players to do it. If they say they don't want to or they can't, they don't have to. Okay? We don't do that.
Yeah.
In that case, we are in fact not going to have an MVP interview today, and that will then cap off what might be the shortest stream in this entire tournament. It has been 48 minutes since we started, and we're already done. Kong, man. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. What a stomp from Hog Mafia today.
Yeah, like you said, with how long the stream has been going, factoring in like the post-match interview, with us sitting here talking the pre-game, waiting for the tournament to start and all that, I'm going to say it's going to be very close between the Astray versus Ski Corps match from about 2 years ago, which only took 34 minutes for them to play 3 maps entirely. And I have to say, like, Hog Mafia's got to be patting themselves on the back for that if they beat that 34-minute time as the Star Esports record. Basically, the record speed run.
And now Hog Mafia gets to move on to get a rematch with Andy's Daycare in the Losers Finals later this week.
Yeah, that is going to be taking place on the 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time of the Losers Finals, where Last time in the round 3 winners bracket, Handy's Daycare beat Hog Mafia 3-0. So you know that Hog Mafia is just stomping Kryix into the dirt 3-0. They're going to be out for blood against Handy's Daycare.
Oh yeah, confidence is at an all-time high. Kongman, do you have any last words before I sign us off here?
I definitely want to wish everyone the best of luck in this tournament. So top 4, Kryix is taking the 4th spot. Hog Mafia moving into the losers final. So next game, you're going to be seeing that spot for 3rd and 2nd place.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for watching. I've been Dividing, joined by Kongman, our producer and tournament organizer, has been refused. Thank you all so much for watching, and keep an eye out. Make sure to follow the Twitch channel if you haven't yet, because this week it all comes to an end. Losers finals and then grand finals on the 30th. We are going to find out the winner of the Star Esports Overwatch All-Star Brawl 6. It's down to Hog Mafia, Andy's Daycare, and Gaia Esports. One of these 3 is going to be walking away with 1st place and the cash prize. So you don't want to miss how this all resolves. But until then, it's going to be all for us. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.